To the person going through a lot right now, I want to remind you, you matter. A lot of people don't want to open up kasi ayaw nilang maging pabigat sa ibang tao. So, what would you say to those of us who feel that way?
That's actually what I felt when I was thinking about opening up to others. I don't want to be a burden to them. Parang ang dami na nilang pinagdadaanan, especially for, kunyari lang, panganay ka. You don't wanna talk to your siblings about it kasi ikaw dapat yung
Yung
may,
strong.
yeah, strong. Ikaw dapat yung dependable and they're the ones that are opening up to you. What would they think if biglang mag-open up ako na may pinagdadaanan din ako? Baka hindi na nila ako i-trust. There's so many of those things that go in our heads that are completely normal because we always want to seem as if we're so put together, especially when we're the ones that we are being dependent on. People are depending on us. It's hard to open up. It's all the more hard to open up. But the way that I think about it is that by being able to normalize talking about our concerns and developing that trust with others, it bridges the gap and normalizes the conversation of overall mental health that everybody is going through. There are going to be days that I'm going to be going through something, and there are going to be days that my friend is going to be going through something. We have to be aware also if they have the capacity to it. So that's why I make an effort to, when before I open up, I ask them, okay, I'm going to open up about something. Are you in the headspace for it? Kasi we can't just dump it on them and expect them to absorb whatever we're feeling and expect them to have good enough advice. If they're also going through something that we don't know about, they're not going to have the best advice, or probably it'll weigh heavier on them as well. If they're extremely empathic, kakargahin rin nila yung problem mo, which is the last thing that you wanted to do in the first place. So by being able to ask, allowing them to your concern, if they want to listen to you, that's an important first step. Just asking them, are you okay to me opening up? If they say yes, then that's the good sign to start. But if you feel though, and you're completely sure that probably baka maging pabigat pa to sa akin, that's what therapists and that's what our psychologists are there for, because they have the capacity to do that. They have the capacity to receive your issues. They're in the best place to also give you the advice or put you in the right headspace na hindi naman na-affect yung ibang tao.
As a last point that I wanted to ask you, a lot of times, because nga mental health talk is only being normalized now, a lot of people don't know how to answer. And we can't control what other people say, but ika nga nila, di ba, pwede natin control how we react. So for example, we do open up to someone and they tell us the usual things we hear na, wala yan, lilipas din yan. Or yung mga salita that sort of make us feel invalidated. What is your advice to those who hear those words?
Yeah, I recall this in my journey as well. It wasn't so being discussed so much, and especially in the workplace, which is why my nation as an organization values also mental health in the workplace. Is because especially at work, they don't want to talk about it. The traditional way of thinking when it comes to work is you leave your emotions out the door. You come in, you work, that's the only thing that you do. But during the pandemic, the lines have been blurred and we come to realize na we can't compartmentalize na rin us as a working individual versus us as human being with emotions, and we're going through the same emotions as much as everybody going through isolation or sickness, etc., and we can't separate them. But because of that transition, it was so hard for organizations, bosses to also come to terms with the fact that emotion or mental health does have a space in the workplace.
Yeah.
So during the time that I was going through it, I would hear things about like, just suck it up. It's not important at work. It's not a real thing. You chose for that to happen. And syempre, those were very hurtful for me because I felt like, okay, I'll just suck it up because I think that I'm just being sensitive or weak. And I don't want to be perceived in the workplace as someone that can't handle big roles. What will this say about my promotion, etc. But it was with that journey where I also realized that there are really people that probably don't know, have never experienced it, and that's, I guess that's it's a good good for them. But by being able to understand deeper that they might not have the capacity or the awareness, the level of awareness that you're having right now, they may not be able to express it in the right way. They may not be able to know exactly what to say. It helps put things into into perspective and gives you that more space to understand what they're going through as well. Maybe those are scripts that they have in their head that they have been taught by their parents that emotions are not a thing, etc., sharing onto you. And the more that we recognize that other people's perception, other people's reaction, it says more about them and what they're going through versus it is a personal attack to you, the more that we are able to hold space for it and understand it and separate ourselves from that reaction. When we're able to do that and recognize that, okay, this is more of how they feel about it, it does not in any way invalidate or make my problem or my feelings or my emotions any less real, because your emotions are valid. That's the reason why we say it's okay not to be okay. The more that we are able to control what goes in our head, and the more that we are able to be kinder to ourselves and say that, okay, this is a reaction that they have, the next time we're able to come to an understanding. That's why we talk to people who can give us that light or share the brighter side of how we address our feelings.
Wow, this was all so helpful, Kat. I mean, I know of so many people who struggle silently, right? Because like you said, you have to be strong. You have to have it all together, but that's why these conversations are so important. You can listen to the longer conversation of Bianca and Kat kung kanino ba pwede mag-open up at paano on Paano Ba To The Podcast exclusively on Spotify.